Can I ask you something, Miss Evelyn? Do you know what her pain is? Because the only reason a person would behave in this manner,
we're not going to throw this behavior word around again. We're not going to do that. She does not have a behavior problem, and that's not fair.
First of all, your finger in my face is not going to work for me.
But the name calling is not going to work for me. Because I don't appreciate you keep throwing out these names. That is what about my disrespect? All I have been is disrespectful. I've been called. Wait a minute!
So what if I told you that Tamar isn't the real problem? What if the true villain of the Braxton family has been Miss E all along? Child, it's getting downright messy in the Braxton family, and yet again, Tamar is in the midst of all of it. Anytime Tamar is on social media for something, people always go in on her, calling her chaotic and attention-seeking with a very public reputation for holding grudges. But Tamar isn't done letting anyone put the blame on her, and she said that she's the way she is because of her mother. Well, how about that? For a while now, Tamar has been talking about her mental health and her healing journey, and she's hinted at her mother's resentment towards people, especially their dad, for getting to her big time, and that is part of the reason why she still struggles.
Letting your mother run your life.
How dare he try to tell me how to raise my kids after he have abandoned us? He has some nerve.
Y'all have lives to live yourself, and she can't run her life, her home, and your home too.
You know what? Had you been home long enough to help me to raise them, it wouldn't be such a problem. But where were you? Out there hanging in the street,
what did you do
doing whatever
all day?
you were
What
big
did you
enough
do
to do.
all day long?
What did you do?
What did you do?
I mean, let's be real. Tamar has given us everything we could possibly see or hear from her. From relationship drama with Vince, to JR, to beefing with her sisters, to burning every bridge imaginable. She took it a step further this year, too, by throwing Funky Dineva under the bus by implying that she may have been attacked after a night out, or even worse, allegedly sleeping with some of Tony's men.
I don't steal anything.
You don't? You stole men.
Who's the man that I stole?
Tony's. You slept with them a few times.
Who? What man?
You not get the lead.
Bitch. Dirty low down ass bitch.
Oh, you're such a liar. Such a liar.
It was all fun when she was acting this way a few years ago, and it was even good enough to make her the fan favorite during the earlier seasons of the Braxton Family Values. But every year, Tamar does something that leaves everyone stunned, and people are just getting tired of her toxic behavior. She constantly says that she's on a healing journey, but child, most people think she's only gotten worse. With some even saying, Tamar truly needs help. She's exhausting and needs to be loved from afar. Tamar never thinks she's wrong. She always feels attacked and doesn't see how nasty she can be. Tamar is almost 50 and falls out with everybody. She's never going to change. Tamar being dramatic isn't exactly breaking news, but people have been saying that it's better for her to back out now or lose whatever good perception the public still has for her. But like always, Tamar isn't letting any talk about her go unanswered. And in pure Tamar fashion, she is out here blaming everyone but herself, particularly her mom, Miss Evelyn. The sisters all have some type of bitterness and resentment that they've been holding on to for a while, and the only person who has ever come out to talk about it is Tamar. And this is the first time she's openly connecting the behavior to her upbringing. All her life, she's seen her mother having a hard time letting go and holding on to grudges, especially when it came to how Evelyn's marriage ended with her ex-husband, Michael Braxton.
Evelyn could say some things out her mouth that are really cutting.
But your daughters are being held emotionally hostage to your ex-wife's bitterness towards you. You and her need to get on the same side of the table and free those girls. Because the elephant in the room that nobody will talk about is Evelyn Braxton's attitude.
I mean, it's been over 2 decades since Evelyn and Michael got divorced after she found him cheating. But the amount of bitterness and resentment Evelyn still has towards Michael is insane. And it has reportedly set the tone for how Tamar and the rest of her sisters deal with hurt and resentment in their relationships and even their interactions with each other. They didn't just witness anger, they absorbed it.
I don't even think they look at me as a sister. They don't like me. We were very close as kids, very close as young adults. And now where we are in our lives, that relationship no longer serves us. And I would hate to keep arguing with them and keep building negative memories instead of building and relying and thinking of the good memories that we had.
Even Tony, who is the oldest, comes off as the most classy of all the sisters, is just as messy. Only she's a bit more reserved with her messiness. It is no doubt that Evelyn is just as toxic and controlling. In fact, when she and Michael were going through their divorce, she made the kids pick a side, and anyone who wanted to stand with their father got the worst of her. And this is why Evelyn and Tracy didn't really see eye to eye, because Tracy still wanted to maintain a relationship with their father, especially because she lived the closest to him in Maryland. And Evelyn wasn't too happy about that at all. Evelyn also allegedly held on to that grudge right up until Tracy passed away. But Tamar is the youngest, and when this whole thing was going on, she sided with her mother big time and allegedly never really did anything without running it past her mother first. And that became a big problem, and it fueled the codependency.
Because everything she said she thought was right.
Pitiful lie, too.
And as long as you agree with her, she's fine. And it's the same thing with y'all. If y'all don't agree with her, she is pissed. And it's time for y'all to stop letting your mother run your life.
The way Tamar tells it, it isn't only the bitterness and resentment that her mom passed on to them. She also enjoyed the sound of her own voice and always believed that she was right about any and everything. And if Tamar had an opinion and it didn't sit right with her, she was always quick to shut it down and expected Tamar and her sisters to do as she said. And it's hard for any of the sisters, particularly Tamar, to go against her mother because of the guilt that came with the constant reminder about how Evelyn raised all 6 of them as a single mom by herself after their father, Michael Sr., left home. That is just the kind of environment Tamar grew up in, and even after 20 years, nothing has really changed. Evelyn still holds so much hatred, and it usually spills out onto her daughters.
Let me know if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So looking at Tina Knowles and her children, and looking at Evelyn Braxton and her girls, it's proof to me that forgiveness or unforgiveness and bitterness can trickle down to your kids. I feel like Tina Knowles is the reason why Solange and Beyonce are able to persevere and press through adversity with grace and poise. I know this is a weird way to put it, but Beyonce and Solange was able to see their parents go through a healthy divorce. Even Miss Tina acknowledged that they did not go back and forth. And honestly, she had every reason to be bitter and not forgive him for having an outside baby on her. And then on the other hand, we can look at Miss Evelyn Braxton and see why her daughters are still on each other's neck in their 40s and 50s.
And people are agreeing with Tamar because it's easy to see how Evelyn Braxton set the tone for disrespect and how her behavior may have gotten to Tamar over the years. I think I want to make a list of villains people don't think are villains and start with that good old Evelyn Braxton. Evelyn Braxton represents so many of our toxic mothers that have raised us to become mentally scarred women pretending to have it all together. The Braxton family has always been toxic, and Evelyn is the main problem who held it over her kids' heads and forced them to stick together despite any issues. Them girls don't like each other, and Tamar is always the scapegoat because of her mouth and personality. But what do you all think about this? Sound off in the comments and make sure you hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, baddies.